What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex. You are watching the Ragin Nation show, Transformers 4 Edition. This is just a web series where we talk about all things that matter to me for the production of the 4th installment of the live-action Transformers film franchise, directed by Michael Bay. This is update number 131, and by now you have seen my reaction to the Transformers Age of Extinction Payoff official trailer. I'm not sure why they're calling it Payoff, but we've been waiting for so long, so here's the big payoff. Actually, the big payoff would be the movie when it comes out on June 27th, depending on where you're located. Anyways, in this episode, we're gonna do the trailer analysis, and this will be a shot by shot scene analysis, and we're gonna totally pick apart all the scenes and see what's up. First of all, I want to say that this trailer looks great. And the animation and the CG looks fantastic. I mean, ILM really worked hard on this. Another thing that I noticed is that it doesn't give a whole lot away. It's a lot of money shots, and I find that Michael Bay really sure knows how to cut trailers. Because unlike Sony's The Amazing Spider-Man 2, they just gave everything away. But in this one, it's just a bunch of scenes, and it's a bunch of dialogue that kind of put together a story, but you still don't really know what's the thing, you know what I'm saying? What's the big payoff, I guess. So I'm really liking this, and let's take a look at the very first shot. And what we see here is, okay, this shot is the one that intrigues me the most out of the entire trailer, and that is this very first shot, this archaeological dig site. It looks like it's a very strange location, and they seem to have dug up like a flat surface and made a circle all out of the debris. And I'll tell you something. One thing about the Transformers movies is that, or at least the last 3 films, or even this one, is that essentially they're all the same, okay? It's all about the Decepticon invasion, okay? It's just more exciting. It just gets more and more exciting as it leads up to the big invasion. But essentially the movies all have the same formula and the same structure. The only thing that's different is the human element. And I find that the human element in this movie is very unique, because of what they're doing with the Transformers, which is followed by this shot where you have Galvatron on this bed, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, this could mean one of two things, okay? But I think it's the latter. It's either one, they've taken the parts from Decepticons from the Chicago battle in Dark of the Moon and made this out of it, or they're constructing Galvatron from scratch, okay? So something that it tells me it's like a combination of the both, but they're really constructing Galvatron from scratch using some, like, you know, the technology of the Transformers based off of the debris and the Decepticon fodder that is left over all over Chicago. All right, you get a really nice shot of Galvatron's face in this. So check that out. His torso, it's just his torso and his head. All right. Next shot's very interesting. Feels very sci-fi, you know, kind of space age. You have this ball that comes up from this table, which is like, when I first saw it, I was like, what the heck is this? Where are they going with this, right? And then the next shot's even mind-boggled me even more. I mean, this is like a full-on CG effect, but the ball converts into this, it's like nanotechnology. So, and then you have the talented Stanley Tucci. I mean, you know what? Out of the entire human cast, Stanley Tucci will be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he's such a great actor, and to bring Stanley Tucci into this mix of like a Michael Bay Transformers film really adds this element of quality to the film. All right, you know, this thing is really interesting. This flying thing. I wonder how they're gonna contain it. Oh my God. Here is Lockdown. I believe this shot was in Michigan, Adrian, Michigan. But the Lamborghini Aventador pulling up, and then he just slams his fist on the ground. The transformation is so clean, so photorealistic. Oh my god, it looks beautiful. And then he just goes, his weapon comes out like the original Lockdown from animated. It's like a kind of like a hook anchor kind of weapon. So cool, man. And then the way the battle shield comes down. Whew, this was the shot that really just blew my mind. I mean, I had the biggest reaction to this shot because, wow, it is so clean. It's not like you know, a transformation from the distance. It's not a transformation that's up close. I mean, Michael Bay gave what the fans wanted, and that is to see clean transformations. The car pulls up full frame. You know, you can totally see that, and it transforms, and then you can see it go from a Lamborghini to robot in such a smooth transition. Wow. Okay, here you have Stanley Tucci talking about this metal, the object, and he says it's what they're made of. He has a smirk on his face, and then it almost looks kind of evil. So very, very intriguing. Next shot here is what gets me excited, because we have Optimus Prime driving in this is the valley. I think it's in Utah, and this is totally reminiscent of a number of things. First of all, G1 and also Transformers Prime. So I'm glad they decided to use this location for such like an epic shot. You know, it looks great. And then the scene that got me super excited is Optimus Prime transforming. It's an up close shot, but he pulls his arm out of the bottom of the side of his car, and then that transformation just, man, it's a good looking transformation. And the colors just, they got the lighting and the CG all perfect in this. I mean, it looks great. Like I said, photorealistic. It looks like he's really there, and you get a full chest shot of what he looks like. Obviously, he's very different from what he looked like before, and this really shows that. Here's Optimus Prime talking with Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg. You have, I believe, this crosshairs on the left because you can see the carbon fiber black part. You know, this is not, it wouldn't be Ratchet because he wouldn't have that. I think that's I was about to say Bulkhead, but I think that's Hound. You can see the arm has those bullets on it, and he tells them that they're hunting humans now. So that's pretty exciting. In this scene, you already see that Mark Wahlberg is holding onto his sword. All right, so all right, moving on. This is the shot of Lockdown, which we've already seen, and then followed by the stomp, which we've already seen. Now this shot of Lockdown. Look at Lockdown's battle mask. It's green, and it almost has like exposed, like not exposed, but like circuitry. You know, the way a computer looks like. So obviously it's his. I think it's his heads-up display that you can see. It's transparent and looks really cool. Lockdown looks really, really badass. Oh my god. Stanley Tucci. This is a very cliche scene. This is when the humans think they don't know what they're dealing with, but they actually don't. That's why he's going, what is that? You know, it's obviously he's looking at some sort of threat. You see to his right is, I think that's Darcy, played by Sophia Myles, and Kelsey Grammer in the back. All right, so does that suggest that they're working for Kelsey Grammer? I guess he is, but maybe he sees the good sees the good in the Autobots, and that's why he's rolling with them later on. Okay, Lockdown's blasting Optimus. It's a very devastating blow. You know, before he gets shot, he says, "Who sent you?" Now, this is supposed to suggest that, well, all the fans are suggesting that it's Unicron that sent Lockdown. You know, I got a comment on that. I believe that in the movie, they're not even going to mention Unicron. They won't even really talk about Unicron in full detail. All they're going to do is, this is just my theory, is that they're going to suggest that there is a higher being, but they're not going to tell us what it is, what or who it is, or even show us what it looks like. All right, that's all they're going to do. Because if this is Michael Bay's last installment of the Transformers live-action film, then he will set it up for the new director, and the new director can do whatever he wants, whether he wants to introduce the higher being as the Quintessons or Unicron or something entirely different. So he's going to leave it open for the new director. That's what I believe. Okay, next shot we see Nicola Peltz going, "Help me!" So this is the beginning of when Nicola Peltz is being captured, and then Mark Wahlberg and Jack Reynor are running towards her. Can't really save her. Look at all these ships. First of all, they all look like snails. Okay, uh, they like, this is a lot of ships. I still have no idea, like, why there's so many ships. I mean, it's a lot of ships. It's a huge invasion, but essentially all we really get is lockdown. And maybe this could be a flashback scene. Maybe this is a giant combiner. I don't know. I'm really confused by this. But what's really cool, I mean, look at all these ships. But what's really cool is I believe this is Lockdown's night ship. I believe that this ship that's flying over the Great Wall of China deploys from those giant capital ships, and this is Lockdown's night ship, and that's the one we've seen, the big grand scheme in Texas. Now it's opening up its doors, and he sucks up things from Hong Kong. Like, over here, it's the Hong Kong Convention Center and a ferry. Okay, here's people running in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Convention Center just being totally sucked up. Oh my god. Stanley Tucci's in a car with Mark Wahlberg, and he's going, "Oh my god!" And I believe that he's saying that because there's a freaking ferry ship that's gonna fall on them. Okay? And you see the ferry ship, and you also see their vehicle. And I believe all four of them are in there. Jack Reynor, Nicola Peltz, Mark Wahlberg, Stanley Tucci. And then you see the blue cars backing up as this ferry ship is going to come down. By the way, this ferry ship gets you from Kowloon to Hong Kong Island, for those that don't know. You can see Bumblebee and Optimus Prime running away from it, but if you notice, they get squashed by this ship. The ferry ship, the ferry completely collapses right over them. Okay, and then you see the truck backing away. So how did they survive out of that in the next shot? Well, let me tell you something. This shot is a completely different shot. I believe that this shot that we see right here is a different shot. The main reason why is because, first of all, I don't see any ferry debris, okay, like ferry parts. And I also see two container trucks in the background. Now, where are those container trucks in the movie? I mean, in that scene rather. It wasn't there. So I think that the ferry ship dropping and this scene where Bumblebee and Optimus Prime are getting away from it, Bumblebee's rolling out, I think it's two entirely different scenes actually. And they just edit it in a way so that it looks like it's one scene. But anyways, what's really cool is that you see Optimus Prime stumble, and I love that kind of physical realism that they've added to it. It's all this little attention to detail that they've added, and they've done a great job. Approved. Now here's an interesting shot. I believe this is Chicago, and it looks like there are cables attached from the ship to this building here. And oh, I see what's going on. Lockdown. Okay, it's Nicola Peltz. She's going on the cable because Jack Reynor, Bumblebee, and Mark Wahlberg rescued Nicola Peltz from Lockdown ship. She was captured in Lockdown ship, and they rescued her, and somehow they were able to get these cables attached to the building, and they have to kind of slowly, carefully walk down their way or crawl down their way through these cables from Lockdown ship. Okay, see, I'm piecing it all together. And then obviously when you have a scene like that, there's going to be danger, okay? I mean, the Lockdown ship is not a very stable thing to be hanging from. So because of that, they're about to fall. Bumblebee jumps off, and this is Wolf, okay? Remember there's a toy listing where it says Lockdown and Wolf? Well, Lockdown's pet is Wolf. In the previous video, I said that it was a Dinobot. It's not. Dinobots are not even in Chicago yet. But anyways, Bumblebee is jumping off of Lockdown's ship. Wolf is trying to jump after him. You kind of see that he grabs onto Bumblebee's foot, but in the next shot, you'll see that maybe he fell off, right? Anyways, Bumblebee jumps off the ship and rescues the falling characters. But what's crazy is that they slam right into a building, and I'm thinking, man, they're going to incur a lot of scratches and a lot of injury from that. So, it's crazy because the humans will probably like have a lot of injuries and stuff, but yet they'll probably be walking around with no problem at all. And later on, lockdown here in this scene in China, where he's his this could be the lockdown death scene. I don't know. I think it could be the lockdown death scene, maybe. But like there's an explosion going off, and I don't think he's able to get away. This is a great scene. Mark Wahlberg talking to Optimus Prime, and look at the setting. Look around you. Could this be inside lockdown ship, or could this be inside like a Dinobot cave or something? Like looks totally Cybertronian to me. Okay, he says my buddies are being sacrificed or something along those lines. Then you see Ratchet. This is obviously suggesting that Ratchet is gonna really, he's toast. He's toast. Hound is looking amazing in slow motion, blasting away. Oh man, what do we got here? Okay, once again, Mark Wahlberg fighting his way with the gunblade. He probably picked up the gunblade from the arsenal behind him, and he's using it like a gun. I'm just curious as to what he's shooting at. What is he shooting at? This is probably Lockdown Ship, because he probably grabbed those from Lockdown Ship. But what is he shooting at? Lockdown's kind of like a predator. He's like a hunter, and he also keeps trophies. So maybe this is inspiration from Predator, and he keeps his trophies on the wall. Okay, now this is the scene from the Detroit set, the China set that's built in Detroit. And here you have cars being flipped around, and I believe that's a Viacon throwing a car at Bumblebee, and Bumblebee just turns around, pointing his gun at him, and then that Viacon's probably gonna be toast afterwards after they get shot. All right. There's going to be a lot of action. Now, this is the most beautiful shot of Optimus Prime. He looks great. Like, the reflections are perfect on him. I mean, that's the one thing that throws off CG. Is the lighting perfect? Are the reflections accurate? I think it's perfect in this. Okay, next. Oh, man, this is crazy. Lockdown versus Optimus Prime. Okay, what is up with Optimus Prime just being slapped around all the time? He never really had a moment to really beat Decepticons until we saw him in the forest battle, where he totally kicked ass. And even when he was going up against Sentinel Prime, he was still kind of getting owned. All right, so unless he's fighting like Decepticon minions like he did in Chicago in Transformers Dark of the Moon, like he's not really that amazing of a fighter. It was only Michael Bay decided to redeem Optimus Prime in the forest fight, but looks like he's getting his ass handed back to him when Lockdown just totally slaps him around. He hits a wall. Now notice that the shield that he has is blue. In the toy it's red. So I'm not sure if that represents anything, like the difference in the colors, but I noticed that it's blue. And then Lockdown just kicks him in the face, and I was like, "Oh, that's gotta hurt," because that's quite a kick he got there. And this, I believe that this is when he finally gets captured. All right, because there's so many fights between Lockdown and Optimus, because he blasted him in the Texas chase. He hits him again in China, So man, okay. The guys are running away from explosions. Nikola Peltz doesn't want to leave his father. But now this is interesting. Mark Wahlberg appears to be in the same scene as Optimus Prime getting his ass handed back to him, because he's ducking from this slice from Lockdown. Lockdown's completely relentless. He is a fierce bounty hunter. You can tell by the way he's emotionless when he attacks Mark Wahlberg with his arm. I mean, he just doesn't care. He tries to grab at Mark Wahlberg, and Mark Wahlberg defends it with the sword. Like, wow. But that shot takes place in that refinery shot in China. Now check this out. Here's another shot from the Detroit set, which is supposed to be China, where you have Hound throwing a grenade. But what you see on the left is a dead Viacon. What you see on the right is also another dead Viacon. Something tells me there's going to be a lot of Viacons. Now, the big question is, why are there so many Viacons? One of the main reasons why is because there's the Decepticons are gone. The main Decepticons are toast. Transformers Dark of the Moon, they destroyed most of the Decepticons, and something tells me that a lot of these Vehicons are all man-made. So they just mass produce these things. That's why they're in China. China is like the leader in mass production. So these are man-made Transformers. Okay, here's Bumblebee. You can kind of see Bumblebee and he's on a drone ship, but then they crash land somewhere. So this is going to be a pretty devastating scene. Now, what's very interesting is that I'm curious, are the humans still on board when it crashes? And also, what's up with Bumblebee always crashing the drone ships? He must have learned how to drive these things by now. Come on, man. Or pilot them. Okay, check this out. Sonic RS, which I do not believe is an Autobot at all. Okay, the Sonic RS, I'm going to say it right now. Sonic RS is not an Autobot. It's not Cliff Jumper. Okay, it's not Hot Rod or whatever. It's Shane Dyson's car. Okay, he's a race car driver. He has to start off with a car. All right, so he doesn't start off with an Autobot. All right, so this is car, and what's really cool is that you get this sweet slow-mo shot of the car like totally smacking into a special forces guy's or a mercenary's face. Pretty awesome shot. Bumblebee with the harpoon and tow cable, and it looks like Mark Wahlberg falling off a wall in Hong Kong, and he just hangs on. There's a lot of stunts going on, man. A lot of crazy stunts. It's going to be a very physical movie for the humans. Now, this must be a scene in the Texas chase because you see the green fields, Jack Rayner, Optimus Prime jumping out of Optimus as he transforms, which means that they were in the truck and he was being chased down by Galvatron. So that's going to be crazy. Okay, he's telling them, "You guys gotta get out of here and jump off." So he does, and then he transforms, and then the battle begins. Now, this is a very interesting shot. This is Hong Kong, okay? Bumblebee is being like lifted off by Strafe, but if you notice in the far middle, there's something in red that is shooting at him, okay? Check that out, okay? Replay that, you'll see things shooting at him. It's really, really brief, and then you see this close-up of Bumblebee's face as he goes right up to the camera. He's still like being flown around by Strafe. And look at the detail on his face. Now here's the next shot. We've already seen this before. Of course, this is him breathing fire. Drift on the left. Optimus Prime looks like he's like cracking a whip or something, or he's telling him, "Follow me," as a lot of other fans suggested. Grimlock throwing trucks around in Hong Kong. They need a new army. Here he is running around Hong Kong. And this is the money shot. Now, I'll be completely honest. This shot is awesome, but it's still kind of like a... I've seen this type of shot before in Transformers Dark of the Moon. It's like a long one take where Optimus is taking out a lot of Decepticons with his blades. We've seen that when he was with the jetpack. He goes down on the street and starts like smacking Decepticons everywhere. Now, we've seen that sort of thing before. I was hoping Michael Bay would give us something different, but it's still a very cool money shot. Now, what's really cool about this shot is that he jumps off Grimlock, okay? Throws his sword onto a Vehicon, completely destroying him. He picks up the sword that he used to throw at the Vehicon, okay, and then he slices another Vehicon with this cool kung fu move, while in the background you see Grimlock using his tail to stab another Vehicon, okay, and then while it's stabbed, he uses his mouth and his teeth to and throw that Vehicon into a building, and then at the end Optimus Prime ends off with this sweet little sweet kung fu pose or fighting stance where he has one sword in the hand and his shield in another hand, and the shield looks like he's gonna shoot at the other Vehicon and a new Vehicon, and then Transformers: Age of Extinction. Whew! That was amazing. That was a really, really well done trailer. I mean, hats off to Michael Bay for making such an amazing trailer without giving too much away. Like, he didn't give away a lot of stuff. He didn't spoil anything, okay? He just told us a little bit about the story, not a whole lot. It's still a big mystery to me. But what he does is that he doesn't give a whole lot away. He doesn't tell us about the other Dinobot. He doesn't show us the new Dinobots. He doesn't show us the robot modes of the Dinobots. He doesn't even show us like a full thing of drift or crosshairs. I mean, we've seen crosshairs, but you know, another shot would have been nice. He doesn't show us like Hound rolling out. You know, what about Stinger? You know, there's lots of stuff he doesn't show us. And this trailer suggests that Lockdown is the main villain. I mean, he's a dominant villain in the movie, but I don't think he's the main villain. He will be in. He'll have a lot of screen time because he's a bounty hunter, and he really is only the only true Decepticon in this movie. But then, or rather Cybertronian, a lot of the fans are saying he's not a Decepticon. He doesn't have a faction. Well, I'm gonna have to disagree. Like, he's a bad guy. He's a Cybertronian, and you know, Decepticons. Not all the Decepticons are wiped out. All the Decepticons are wiped out on Earth. All right. But anyways, the rest of the bad guys like Galvatron, Stinger, they're all man-made. All the Vcons, I believe, are man-made. So this is going to be very, very interesting because Lockdown will most likely not have an affiliation, or at least like a you know, a team up with the human-made Decepticons. Okay, Lockdown doesn't even know Galvatron probably. Okay, so essentially there's three stories going on: the Autobot story to survive, and the Lockdown story, and the man-made Decepticon stories. Three robot stories, and I'm so glad it doesn't focus too much on the romance between Shane and Tessa, and I'm really, really curious about this whole man-made Transformers thing, and Stanley Tucci is just gonna be awesome in this. All right, so I'm excited. Now the big question is, are Dinobots gonna have robot modes? Well, I think Dinobots are going to have robot modes. A lot of fans are thinking just because it wasn't shown in the trailer that they're not going to have robot modes. Do you think that Michael Bay is going to give everything away? I mean, come on, okay? He's going to save the surprises for the movie. But I believe that they're going to have robot modes. We're just not going to see them until the movie. And we're not even going to see all the other Dinobots until the movie. He's going to show us a glimpse of it, but not enough to really give it all away. And one thing you got to understand is that the Dinobots... The highlight of the Dinobots is not their robot modes. The highlight of the Dinobots is their beast mode. So I don't believe that there needs to be a big emphasis on the robot modes of the Dinobots. Honestly speaking, like for the story, the way it contributes to the story is that whether they have robot modes or whether they have robot modes is almost irrelevant. Because the Dinobots is what does, the Dinobot beast mode is what does all the destruction, alright? And once they attack, they're going to turn into Dinobots. They're not going to stay in the robot mode. They're only robot modes when they're not in battle, alright? Sometimes they stay in Dinobot mode even when they're not in battle, according to G1. So honestly speaking, if they didn't have robot modes, it wouldn't bother me. I mean, because Scorponok never had a robot mode. All right, Ravage never had a robot mode. I mean, that was their mode, okay? So that's what I gotta say. So how it relates to the story, it honestly wouldn't matter, all right? So it's just a nod to the fans, of course, if they were to have those modes, okay? Anyways, that's all I gotta say in this video. This trailer was freaking fantastic. And from this point on, we're going to get tons and tons of TV spots. I remember when Transformers Revenge of the Fallen came out, there were like 20 TV spots, okay? And then as for other trailers, I don't think there's any more full theatrical trailers. I don't think there's any more full-length trailers. I mean, I've honestly seen enough, so I don't care if they put out another trailer. Alright, so there you have it. That's all I got to say in this video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Follow me on Twitter, @RaginNation. Check out my photos on Instagram, @The Ragin Nation. My name is Alex Yu. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. Oh!